Hello. How are you all doing? Thank you very much for the very warm welcome, the applause, the cheers and everything. I must say, yeah, thank you very much. So let me first tell you that I'm very happy to be here at Slush. It's my first time in Helsinki. And for that reason, I also like to introduce you to my Chief Happiness Officer. At the moment, he's at our office in Amsterdam. And his name is Bo. He's 6 months old, and he happens to be my son. And he's also watching the live stream. So I want you all to say hello to Bo. So this is what we're going to do. You're going to put your hands up in the air, do like this, and then we say, hello, Bo. Come on, put your hands up. Yeah, like that. Hello, Bo. 1, 2, 3. Hello. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now you made him happy as well, which is amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not here for that. Let's see how this works next. Does that work? Yeah. Oh, back. Yeah. So let's. This is me, Patrick de Laive. I'm the co-founder of TheNextWeb and also Index.co. I'm at Patrick on Twitter. So if you have anything you want to share with me, you can find me there. Let's start with a very brief background about TheNextWeb. We started out with 2 pillars. TNW Events, which is famous for our conference in Amsterdam and in New York, and TheNextWeb.com, which is media. And about a year ago, we introduced a 3rd pillar to our business, which is called data. So let's talk about data. So the idea to add the data pillar to TNW stems from 2 huge problems we had. The first one, we published 60,000 articles, and they're all tagged, etc. But we actually had no clue what they were about. We had to ask Google how many articles that we wrote about Uber. So we were a little bit in the dark, just like this guy, and we needed to find a way to understand content and structure it. The second problem is that our editorial team receives over 50,000 pitches from tech companies per year. And this is not going down, it's only going up. I mean, you can see here the sheer volume of people and startups that are here today, and everybody wants attention. So, how do they decide what's worthwhile covering? So we needed to be smarter to stay efficient and raise the quality of our content. So the answer we came up with was actually very simple. Let's turn content into data. So about a year ago, we started out with a very small team, 3 people, to grab a lot of content and turn that into data. And halfway through, we thought, hey, this is pretty valuable. It's actually too valuable to use it just for ourselves. So we decided to turn it into a product for the whole tech industry, and Index.co was born. It went live in August this year. At Index, we track tech. It's the only thing we do. So we turn unstructured content into structured data on private tech companies. So this is how it works. We have publicly available sources. We use natural language processing and machine learning algorithms to structure the data. And then we have a team of curators that look into it to make it reliable. And that's what Index is. This is how the website looks today. You can sign up for free and get an account to track tech and your favorite startups. I would definitely recommend you doing that. But at Index, we track A-list tech media sources as well, and analyze their content to turn it into this data. So for this occasion here at Slush, we thought it would be nice to do something cool with these articles. So we wanted to see if we could get some insights in the tech media industry and its audience. And we came up with this question. What did we learn from analyzing 200,000 tech articles? Well, let's look at the data that we have for this. 200,000 articles from 70 media outlets. They were all published in the last 12 months. For each of and every article, we track sharing velocity on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Google+, and LinkedIn. The index engine matches those articles to tech companies. And yeah, we use a bunch of difficult words like natural language processing, machine learning, supervised learning to process, match, and analyze that data. For this research, we had over 4.5 million data points. But yeah, let's dive into some of the results. The first question we had: what are the hottest tech companies of 2015? Okay, you can do one guess. Let's see. Can you do a guess? Katja, you're sitting here. What's the most published tech company in 2015? Very good. Apple. That was very good. Apple was most covered. We also find that the top 3 companies make up for 10% of the articles. Twitter is still the king of sharing, and some of the popular newcomers in the top 50 most talked about companies are these companies here. So let's look how that looks in a nice bar stat. Here you see that Apple gets almost 1 mention per 20 articles written. That's huge. And if you combine Apple, Google, and Facebook percentages, then you get up to 10%. So for all these articles, we also tracked the sharing volume on the social networks. And then you see this. Here you can see that although Apple gets most coverage, the Google-related articles get actually more shares on those social networks. And if you normalize that data, then you see the distribution of shares. And what's interesting here is to see that besides Netflix and Facebook itself, Twitter is the sharing platform that's used most. And that actually goes for all of the top 50 companies that we tracked here. Okay. As said, we're tracking over 70 media outlets. But for the purpose of this presentation, we're showing only insights on 8 of those publications. And this leaves us with a data set of over 94,000 articles. So what did we find here? We see that Business Insider, I don't know, they have robots or something. They crank out so much content. Also, Tuesday and Thursday are the biggest news days. This is not a big surprise. But what is actually is that articles that are published in the weekends, they outperform on social media. Mashable, The Verge, and Wired, they're the best performing on social media. And I have some cool stats, graphs here. So here you see the average number of articles per day per media outlet. And as you can see, Business Insider is by far cranking out the most content. And if you combine the total of articles per day, then you see basically you get this it's kind of like a turtle shape, where you see a huge drop in published articles during the weekends. I mean, you would almost say that people, are taking a day or 2 off. But we also looked at how these articles get shared, of course, on social media. And then you see a totally different graph. So tech articles that are published in the weekends, they get on average 20 to 40% more shares than articles that are published during weekdays. And we actually see a negative correlation between the number of articles published on a day and the average shares. Next one. So here you see the average shares per article per source. And here you see that although Business Insider had the most articles published, they don't do that well when it comes to average shares per article. Sorry. You see that Mashable, Wired, and The Verge are leading, followed by TechCrunch and TheNextWeb. Then, of course, I'm from TheNextWeb, so I did a little bit more research. And if you would take into account the team size, then TNW would outperform all others, because we have a very small team. Put that aside. So how does the distribution look? Here you see that Twitter is actually the biggest platform across all outlets. But LinkedIn is also gaining traction. And for some, it's actually the second biggest sharing platform. So, but what about engagement, right? So this is only shares. So we also looked into the engagement, the likes and the comments on Facebook, for instance. And then you get a totally different picture. Here, all the blue stats on the right side are Twitter shares, likes, and comments. And then you see that Twitter is dominating when taking this into account. So some of the conclusions on the social media platforms that we can draw is Twitter, still the sharing platform of choice. But Facebook is king when it comes to engagement. LinkedIn, this was quite a big surprise to me, is really getting popular as a sharing platform for tech news. And this is, pretty sad. Well, they're still here, sort of. Okay, let me give you some tips to all the founders and communication people in the audience here. When is the best time to introduce something new? Well, in my opinion, only if you're a huge company, then you can afford to launch something on a Tuesday or Thursday, because that will get picked up anyway. But for startups, think out of the box. Maybe why not launch something on a Saturday? We've seen that the articles that are published on a Saturday get more social shares on average. Okay, so now you have some bad news to share. You're laying off 30% of your workforce. When do you do that? Well, pretty simple. 2 tips. First, release it on Friday, 5 p.m. Everybody is at work, drinking beer. Nobody's looking at their email. They won't write about you. But there is another secret, and you can also do it during the Apple keynote, and nobody will notice. Of course, there's a lot more data and insights here. You can hit me up at the bar. I'll be here tonight. Ping me online, or meet me in Amsterdam during our conference in May. And I would really like it for you, if you are interested in tech and want to follow tech companies, to sign up for index.co and be smart about your decisions when it comes to startups. Thank you very much. I hope we can get some beers. And our chief happiness officer, is also very happy to say bye-bye